absolutely stunning, 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 stunning. Your details are exquisite. Your coloring is so unique, particularly from the Plutonian era. If you're from the Plutonian era. Oh wow. And your framing is this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ornate gold with, I believe, the tiniest bits of detailing, almost like the tiniest little dots. It must have been made with the smallest of the small antique tools, truly crafted by an artisan. Though your frame was definitely created by someone other than the artist who designed your painting itself, but they must have worked in tandem because the gold and the designing of the frame just perfectly contrasts yet captures the beauty of your actual image. The coloring is contrasted but very, very, very comparable at the same time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I am so glad that we have found you. My hope and goal is that you are a rare and legitimate piece, and that you are not a fake. Though with how beautiful and vivid your line work is, I highly doubt that you are a copycat. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I'm just going to get my little light here and get a closer examination done of all your lines, of all your details, patterns, etc. I can see a little bit of visible damage, so after I go through and repair some of these issues, I'm then going to have my assistant come in and record some notes as I go through and make note of you as a painting yourself, seeing about all these details like here, down here, 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 etc. And go through, and my assistant and I will make the final determination if you are an authentic, original piece or not. And if you are deduced to be so, then we will have you prepared by a different assistant and ready you to be placed in our gallery. It might even be one of the main displays in our popular McLaughlin gallery. That showcases some of our most beautiful or most famous works, as well as works that the public may not know very much about for various reasons, but should know about, and that should get recognition, whether for the artist or the painting yourself. So, just need you to chill right here for a while as I go through and examine very gently all of you. Seeing in this corner, right here, in your right corner, there's a little bit of flaking from the gold framing. Just the tiniest bit on the very right corner. But that is quite repairable. It seems like your frame underneath is quite intact. It's just the paint used at the time. I'm not quite sure what the material is at this moment. I'll have our lab test it. But if the frame itself under your beautiful gold ornate paint is intact, then there shouldn't be a problem. There's appears to be the tiniest bit of damage in your left corner as well. Even smaller than the right though, so it should not be a problem. Problem. Let me do a final check of the left side of your frame. Appears to be no damage. Nothing that I can visually see here, at least. So that is fantastic. Now I shall be going through and taking a look at you directly, going down and up and down and up, down, back and forth, just slowly examine your painting, check for damage. I'm definitely seeing here in this corner where you had that damage on your frame, I am seeing some I don't even know what to describe it as. I think it's a screw, actually. I think it's a screw, but it's been painted over almost, or corroded maybe. I just couldn't even tell that it was a screw at first because it's so blended in with the rest of you. Yeah. Okay. Oh, another one right here. A second screw. That one's more visible. It seems like it isn't as corroded. Oh, that's a shame. But they seem quite small. They're very many screws. So that should at least pose not much damage to your canvas, nor to the image itself. Thankfully, if it is this small and you're an original piece, it shouldn't take away your value or the ability to display you in our gallery. So I will remove those in a moment. Just appears to be dust right here in your center. It's coming off of my hands quite easily. And it doesn't appear to be your paint or anything. So that's good news. That's good. Okay. Stunning. Okay. Yeah. So it's just definitely is dust. Yeah. Doesn't smell like any oils, charcoals, other painting materials. Nor does it smell like rust or corrosion. It just seems to be some heavy but undamaging dust here. Okay. I'll have to get that a little wipe off too. Maybe give your whole structure a little brush. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. A little dusty, but you don't seem too bad. You must have been sitting up in that mansion attic for a long time, though. Just surprised never has ever tried to track you down. Oh. Okay. So, for being, if you're an authentic piece, over 200 years old, you must have been kept pretty dry and in a good protective climate in that attic because, thankfully you've got just this dust layer, that little bit of damage to the frames, and then the two mini little screws here for me to remove. But other than that, you look fantastic. I'm not seeing any irreparable or even minorly harmful damage. Again, for 200 years old, you look pretty good. Okay, do the final. Detail check. Okay, I think you are all good there. to me, then move on to removing these screws. Got my tiny tool here. All my different screw heads, meant particularly for delicate painting such as yourself. Now, what screw should I use here? I believe I need the smallest star shaped screw that I can get. Okay, good. Alright, now if you could just hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still. I'm going to reach in and seems like at least this one is pretty embedded in, I think, a back wood piece of your frame. So I'm gonna try a little bit more. I'm going to ever so gently. Okay, now it's coming loose. I'm gonna be so careful. Don't pull any of the canvas up with the screw. There we go. Perfect. It was a small but long screw. Okay. The damage, not bad at all. The tiniest hole here, but that can be something that we can plug and cover with canvas on the back at a later date. Or, depending on what my manager wants to do, we could even leave it as is for the display. Because a lot of our authentic paintings, like you, do have some imperfections. A lot of them are a little bit damaged, but that is not a negative thing. It shows that you've lived a long and wonderful life. Perfect. Another small but long one. Okay. Again, very minimal, if barely any, visible damage to the canvas or the painting yourself, which is excellent. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I think it is time to have my assistant come in. And we're going to deduce if you are an authentic piece or not. I have a feeling you are. I need to do all this proper note-taking and recording before I submit my report. Okay? Perfect timing. Thank you. Yeah, just take a seat. Don't worry. Yeah, right here is fine. Can you see the painting? Okay, good. Oh, and I see, yes, that you're already fantastic, fantastic. Yes, a beautiful piece, isn't it? I know. Yeah, and then you see that detail in there. For sure. Yeah. I know. I'm blown away. Yeah, so for your first recordings, if you're ready to get started, just make note that upon initial examination, there is only 1, 2 paint flaking damage to the bottom right and the bottom left corners of the frame. Yes. Otherwise, no frame damage, no issues there. Then, upon examination of the painting, there was a layer of dust, obviously due to it being in that attic for so long. Yes, I'd assume so too. I'd assume at least 35 years, 35 to 40. But it definitely, due to the minimal damage and issues and the thick but undamaging layer of dust, it must have been in a very dry environment, very safe for preservation. Yes, exactly. Okay. And upon further examination, can you keep up okay? Yes, for sure. Let me know, dear, if you need me to slow down my explanation, though I know that you're a very fast typist. Yes. Not to worry. Okay. So upon further examination, I discovered 1 and 2 located in tiny screws, that were very small but long and deep into the wood of the canvas in the frame, yes, but not in the image itself. So it was not too much of a problem. It was located in the lower right quadrant and the upper right third quadrant. Yes, quadrant 4, quadrant 3. Yes, okay. And I was able to safely remove both the screws. And upon removal, I had set them aside and saw again that minimal damage occurred upon removal. And so make a note that our supervisor and upper management can decide whether we want to fill those later or make some decisions to leave it as be. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I'll give you a moment to finish recording on that. No worries. For sure. Okay. Well, I'm going to do some quick measurements here of the frame before we get started. I'm assuming Kyle didn't do this earlier. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's no problem. It takes me 2 seconds. Okay. It is 10.02 inches on the bottom length. Same for the top of the frame. And the right side, I'm assuming it's going to be all the same, but just to confirm that no warping has happened to the frame, it is 8.7 inches on the right and 8.8 inches on the left. Okay. Let me measure that one more time. Yes. Okay. So the slightest bit of warping might have happened, though I'm unsure if it's at the right side, shrunk, or the left side, the wood expanded. I'm unsure, but it does minimal change to our deductions here. Okay. Ready to move on to our most exciting part? Yeah, I always love this too. So we're going to be going and assessing and deducing if you are authentic. As I had actually talked with my assistant before, we believe that you are an authentic Italione piece. Or possibly you could be a rigatoni. Yes. So either or, it depends upon further examination if you are going to be more of the rigatoni style that is vivid in color but sharp in lines, dimensions, keeps to a very structured examination of daily human life, which Penne also was known to have done very often, particularly in their 30s, I think, 40s. They had an era where they strayed from the, how would you call that? Yes, that's exactly it. They strayed from the more, what's the word, pastel-y era that they went through and kept with the bright colors, but went for a slightly harsher line they were used to. But both artists love to do a mix of landscape and portraiture to show what daily human life was like, both for the rich upper class as well as the poorer farmers, artisans, merchants, etc. So your piece is a very beautifully vivid description of late 18th, early 19th century life for, I want to say, the middle class. It looks like there's some beautiful cityscape in your background here. But in your foreground, there is much more realistic, more of the everyday man display of life. At least for what I believe is the middle class that are on their evening strolls along the waterfront in a more simple, more dirt road side of the river compared to the difference in the cityscape in the background that's very rich, very vivid, showing a simple but possibly happy life. Still doing okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. the big question is, are you a rigatoni or are you a penne? Rigatoni, penne, rigatoni, 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 penne, 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 penny, penny, penny. Rigatoni, 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 rigatoni. Yeah, well, since you're in training, give me a brief description of what you think you see here beyond what I described. Is there anything that would stand out to you as being more of one other artist versus the other? Yes. Yeah, and that is, of course, the obvious thing. There often between both artists would be a signature in the bottom left corner. And there is one here, but it is kind of, I don't want to say washed out. That's not quite the right word. Yes, I guess faded. Maybe it was in a sunny place at one point and it faded over time. So we can have our lab analyze the handwriting in particular, and that would be, yes, a step we do to confirm it, but we're just trying to look as we examine, see what you think. Yes, and that was very, very much Penne's work. You're right. And where do you see that here? On this exquisite painting. Along the, oh, I see. You have an amazing eye. Yes. Right here, right here, right here. Right here, right here, right here. Along the river. Oh, I see. Yes, that would be very conducive of Penne's work. They very much did have those soft lines around water imagery. Yes, and rigatoni wasn't known to do much water. While in this one, the water seems to be front and center of the image. Like it's the center of the city, whether you're on the upper rich side or the lower middle class side. Interesting. Yes, and that is very conducive of Penne, yes, to show the different sides of everyday life. Rigatoni was more of a pick one and show the one rather than sharing a bit of both. Okay, so by my standard then, we can deduce that this is probably a Penne, but we want to get as much evidence as we can to confirm if this is the work, authentic work of Penne, or a copycat. Now, pop quiz for you. Do you know the three? Right. Oh no. Yes, three. Thinking four. Somebody else. Do you know the three key signatures, not literal signatures, key signatures of Penne? Yes, so I said that one, it's the comparison between the upper and lower parts of society. And I kind of sort of mentioned the other part that you pointed out. Yes, the water. again. And so you see here, along the water, Penny, whenever they drew painted water, they would always have these very soft lines around the water, making it the centerpiece, but they also would swirl their waves in such a way, like that, you see? Right there's a perfect example. Right there. It kind of goes up and then down in such a soft but unique way. There's no other artists that I've at least seen at that time who do such a particular wave. Okay. And finally, do you know the third one? Yes. So, yeah, we may make a assistant of it. Yes, fantastic. That's exactly right. So Penny's faces are very particular. They have bright colors to them, softness, but there's barely any discernible features. They're very almost blank, almost like there's barely any features on them, that they're the scary monsters in movies that are faceless. Not fully to that extent, but very distinctive nonetheless. Yes, so I would deduce that too, that this is an authentic penny piece. So exciting. So we'll send this into the lab to have them go through with their digital scanners, try to see if they can finalize that this is a penny signature, because if it is a penny signature and it is matching to the authentic other pieces that we have in our collection, then we should be able to fully confirm that this is the work of Penny. Okay, well, thank you so much. Yeah, just go submit your reports and I'm going to finish up here. Great. Yeah, no, thank you. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Well. Just gonna do any last minute examinations of you. Brush that dust off as well. See if I have anything else I need to complete. I think you are in fantastic shape. Thank you so much for gracing us with your lovely presence. As you can tell, possibly my assistant and I are very, very excited to have you here in our collection. Yes, it will be fantastic to have you sitting beside all our Van Gogh pieces. I think beside You might put you beside a Picasso. We have one Picasso. Things like that. All these beautifully famous pieces. Yes. You definitely deserve to be up there with the greats. We're so excited to have you up there and displayed with the greats. You definitely deserve it. Well, I'm gonna go, dear, and make my reports that I need to fill out on my end. That I then can send you off to the labs for all your testing things, before we can then send you off to be displayed. Okay? Well, until then, I will see you soon. Hopefully hanging right up there in the very center of our gallery. Alright. Take care. Bye now.